Hey, yo. All right. This is a quick review for SNMP for those who just want to who want to revise SNMP for the exams, or just want to have a quick 30, uh, quick summary, not 30, quick summary of what SNMP is all about. I'm going to try and attempt to talk about the basic stuff about SNMP in 15 minutes. All right. SNMP stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. It's a layer 7 protocol that is used to monitor devices or anything you want to monitor that can respond to it. It uses two port numbers or well-known port numbers, 161, 162. PS, it is a UDP protocol. It is not TCP, it's UDP. So its packets are based on or are sent out using best effort. Right. So now the port number 161, it's actually what is used by the SNMP manager to pull or query SNMP agents to get information about them. So in case I'm monitoring something, I can send SNMP queries, and the SNMP service will be listing on port UDP port 161. Now, SNMP traps are events or event triggered notifications. So let's say I have a coffee maker and I start boiling coffee. Now, once it hits a certain temperature, I want it to let me know that the coffee is ready. So either a light switch comes on or stuff like that comes on. So once an event is achieved, you get a notification. So SNMP traps do the same thing. Same thing with your Windows, like when you finish installing something, it tells you installation finished, or says you want to launch your program. So it's just something to notify you and let you know the event has been triggered. That's what SNMP traps are. Now, there are two types of SNMP traps. There's the one that, as I said, SNMP itself is UDP. That is just the ordinary trap where we just send the trap message or we get a notification. We send it once and that's it. We don't care if you get it or not. It's not a business. It's UDP best effort. And there's the other type that we want to make sure that you confirm that you got it. Now, problem is UDP is not really made for confirming that a message has been received. So we have a problem there. So what do we do? What was done is, in the simple description of it, is that we created a special trap called informs. What that does is we'll keep sending you SNMP trap messages for that event until you tell us you got it. So that's just what it means. So that's what informs are. Now let's go back to what SNMP client and SNMP manager is. Now, an SNMP client is the device that's being monitored. The SNMP manager is what's doing the monitoring. Usually what does sends the query. Now, when it comes to trap, is the other way. The client sends trap notifications to the manager. All right. Now, SNMP mnemonics, mouthful. But SNMP events are actually categorized the same way we have syslog. We have emergency, alert, critical, error, warning, notification, informational, and debug. Right, so you need to remember that. Now, one more thing do we need to learn? SNMP agents and managers are able to communicate using the MIB. Now, MIB stands for Management Information Base, and MIBs are hierarchical. Now, what is MIB? A simple way to put it is this: to speak in English, right, or to write stuff in English, you need to understand the English alphabet and English lingua structure. Someone who doesn't understand English alphabet would not be able to read or understand an English writing. Someone who writes stuff in Spanish would not be able to communicate to someone who doesn't understand the Spanish alphabet. Same with Chinese. That's what MIB does. MIB is like the alphabet of a language. and the letters of that alphabet is called the OIDs, or object identifiers. In literal sense, object identifiers are just a sequence of numbers that identify a particular event or particular information that we want to get from the SNMP clients. So we have a collection of all these numbers. We have to remember that most of these clients do not understand English and actually only work on machine language, or that's numbers, binary code. So we have a sequence of numbers and we make it mean something. That's basically what it is. And we collect them together and form a language and call it a MEB, a management information base, period. Now, another thing you need to know is that there are three versions of SNMP: the SNMP 1, version 2, and version 3. Version 1 and version 2, well, version 1 was just the start of it. Version 2 also, it's almost like SNMP version 1, has the community string. Sorry about that beep. The community string, and it has the it comes with many other features, right? Like bulk walk, that was added to it that SNMP version 1 didn't have. But SNMP version 1 and 2 do not offer authentication and encryption. Encryption is also called privacy. Now, SNMP version 3 offers that. So that's the major or clear difference between SNMP version 3 and SNMP version 1. Now, SNMP version 3 has three modes you can run. You can either run it without authentication and privacy. That's especially useful if you want to like debug what is going on in, let's say, the SNMP version 3 communication. Or you can run it with just authentication without privacy. That it will authenticate, but there's no encryption. Everything is sent in clear text, or it's hashed, but still sent in clear text. And finally, you can have it with authentication and encryption. And that's the one that is used by almost everyone. It's also known as PRIV, or AuthPRIV. That's authentication and privacy. Now, let me just quickly show you some stuff that will help in understanding some of the things I'm talking about. So this is a MEB browser, as I explained earlier, management information base. This is a MEB browser, and the MEB browser here, I'm looking at SNMP MEB. You can see that there are multiple MEBs here. In fact, there are many more that I could actually download. Let's see, it's a like, see, they're all there. This I think loads 5 at a time. So I have this MEB over here. Oh, okay, actually loads more than 5. Cool. But I have this MEB here. I prefer to use this one the most. This is like English language. This being Spanish, being Italian, Chinese, Japanese. So language or alphabets that we use to understand ourselves. Now, let's say I want to get information about, let's look at it, about the system. And I want to find the description of the system. If I make this bigger, I want to find the description of, oh, that's not useful. I want to find the description of the system, right? You can just make this slightly, oh, it's not helping. All right, so basically what this does, system descript, what it does is that it tells you or describes is a textual description of the entity. This value should include the full name and version identification of the system, hardware types, and software operating system and network software. So this OID, object ID, is a number form. When the machine gets this sequence of numbers, he knows that you're trying to find out what the description of the system actually is, right? And I think if I run this against, actually I have this configured for something else, but if I run this, you would see it. Quick, let me do a quick go at this. That's let's say 104, okay, 161, and I use tests as the community, and I just run it. Let's say, let's get it. You see, it gives me information: Cisco iOS C3560. That's the name. That's the switch type, and tells me the type of iOS code I have running on it. So that's just it. I'm getting an information based on that. And if you notice, it's in hierarchical form. See, on the system, on the system we have system description. On the MIB2 we have system. So it goes that way. So that's the hierarchical point of view that we're talking about there. Was there anything else I left behind that I have not described yet? I think that's pretty much it. Now, another thing you have to do is maybe gotchas that gotta learn. First of all, um, and I talked about them in other videos about version SNMP version 1, version 2, version 3. You can check more about that with the snmp.net and snmp dash s no net dash snmp tool. I think I talked a bit more about snmp version 1 and 2 and 3 over there. Um, but this is a short description of what SNMP is really all about that you really need to know for maybe the Ccna exam. Um, and I'm thinking I left something out. Okay, one of the things you have to be careful about is this. SNMP actually um, has an impact the on the CPU utilization of the router or agent you're using. So if you're going to run SNMP, especially if you're going to run SNMP walk, um, it's going to have a significant impact. So you have to be careful about that. I could demonstrate that, but that'll take more than 50 minutes. All right, cool. So I do hope this video was educational, and you find it useful. And as such, I wish you to live long and prosper. Bye-bye.